Previously in the recap, Goddess Listarte was assigned a S-rank mission to save the world from demons. So Listarte summoned an overpowering hero named Saya, and based on his status, she wanted Saya to rush into that world and save it. But, aside from his dominance, Saya has one flaw: he is overly cautious. Despite his high stats, he flees from a demon and returns to the celestial world to train. And only when he is completely certain that he can kill his opponent in one shot does he rush into battle. Soon after that, they met two new members of their kin, Mash and Alulu of the Dragon Kin. There was also a prophecy that they would discover a legendary weapon in the Dragon Village. However, on their way to the Dragon Village, the Dragon Queen told them how to obtain that sword, which was to sacrifice Alulu, but Saya sacrificed the queen instead, and convinced the villagers that she had transformed into a demon slayer sword. But as they were getting out of that one, another one was waiting for them right at the gate. So, as the story progresses, the knight did not come there to cause trouble, but to seek assistance. Because her commander, Rosalie, was facing one of the Demon Lord army's Demon Kings Bin Bub. Even though she had lost dozens of soldiers, she just wanted to rush back into the battlefield and finish off that fly. But Saya isn't the type to go into a battle without a plan, so Rosalie tried to object to his actions. And when Saya showed her that the real reason for her soldier's death was her poor mindset for fighting without a strategy, she was shocked. She became enraged and wanted to slap him, but Saya isn't a saint either, and one after the other he gave her what she demanded. So they returned to the celestial world for some training, and to kill those fly Listarte took Saya to the goddess of Archer to be trained in long-range combat. So, while Saya was busy training, they were out for a stroll when Circeus approached Rista to warn her. Previously, in the previous recap, Saya trained under the god of blades, Circeus, and Adenela. The goddess of war. But the goddess of war, Adenele, fell in love with Saya, and when she expressed her feelings, Saya flatly rejected her, and as a result, she went insane and was looking for Saya to kill him. And the situation was so bad that even Arya warned Rita about it. But Arya told them to relax because Saya can handle anything. Nonetheless, when Rista arrived at Adenele's house to sort things out, she discovered that her insaneness had been maxed out. The first thing she did was to warn Saya, which Adenele anticipated and followed her. Things were about to get messy for Saya, but a few kind words and Adenele was back to being a sweet little fangirl. So Saya resumed his training, and Mash and Alulu were also training under Arya to unlock their hidden power. Mash received his dragon transformation power, and Alulu received support Magsi, which allows him to slow and fast forward time on a person. And then, over tea, Rista filled in the Arya about him training under the archer goddess Midas. And this was a huge mistake she made, because the head goddess Isser had punished Midas for staying in that forest because she was having affairs like multiple affairs with summoned heroes. Then Rista ran again to save Saya's innocence, only to discover that he was all-ring and even mastering the archery on Misty's because she had gone insane and was about to get Mash into her bed. Anyway, they soon returned to Gaeabrand, the world where the Demon Lord was terrorizing, to assist Rosalie in her fight against the Fly. And it was only recently that she discovered her insane state was so severe that she walked right into an enemy base and got captured. Saya wanted to use her as a decoy, but since she was captured, he made Rista a decoy to finish off those flies. But the commander grabbed Rosalie and flew away to greater heights that the Saya's arrow couldn't reach, but he didn't know that Saya also have flight magic to cover up to him, eventually defeating him. On that note, they were now off to get the armor they had ordered from a dwarf, only to discover that the entire village had been destroyed, and the one who caused it was the same dwarf named Kilkapul who was about to give them their legendary armor. Kilkapul killed his own son and wife and even sacrificed himself in the end to summon an impossible-to-kill mystic demon. He turned out to be on the demon's side, plotting to kill the hero who had come to save the world. They knew that thing was unkillable, so they hurried back to the celestial world. And yet, that thing followed them to the celestial world, sensing that thing or his other gods tried to stop it, but we were unsuccessful. But there was something on Saya's mind that kept him running. He was actually leading that thing to the most powerful goddess, Valkyrie. When that thing fired at Saya, he ducked and it landed on Valkyrie's painting. She smashed its head into pieces and it regenerated despite this. That thing stubborn to die, so Valkyrie used her suppressed divine power to kill that ghost with a move called Gate of Valhalla. But it has some serious recoil, but it appears she enjoys the pain, so Saya wanted to train under her, and she even accepted and summoned Saya to her location to begin training. After that, Rista received a summons from the goddess Ishtar, who informed her that the last demon king, Gaeabrand, was stirring up trouble in the world. So she got back to work and went to Arya's place to pick up Mash and Alulu, who were also training under Arya to level up. But it was getting late for Saya, so Rista, Mash, and Alulu went to Valkyrie's plate to check them out and discovered they had just finished their bedtime session and were also naked. As a result of this, she began crying like a baby, believing that Saya had stolen his innocence. But Rysat had no idea where they both slept together. They returned to Gaebrand to deal with the last Devil King, and they were already prepared to face that demon. And the greatest warrior and king named Wolks, Rosalie's father, goes up against him and kills it in one shot. And using all of his power, he turned him into a cub, which Rosalie later explained was the result of a curse given to him by the demon lord. Then, as soon as he regained his composure and greeted the goddess and the hero, word came that the remaining trews of the demon army were on the move. So Saya took Alulu and Mash back to deal with them, while Walks took Rista to a citadel he built out of his obsession with being a hero. He mentions everything that only a person from the celestial world or a demon lord would know, such as the fact that God or the hero they summon cannot die, because their true souls are on their prospective place, just as a god's true soul remains in the celestial world, while gods have a temporary soul with which they live forever. But there was a way to kill them using chain reaction magic, and he knew about it and had a weapon to kill a god and a hero because he sided with the demon lord in order to have eternal youth. Fortunately, Saya foresaw this and arrived to save Rita. While the Gramps lacked the power of youth, he swole a bead obtained from the demon lord, transforming him into a hybrid demon. And with his newly acquired power, he even got Saya this time, seeing that Saya was free of every Zekel that was holding him back and was on equal footing with him. But just when Wolk cut his arm, Saya outsmarted him by using his skill that deal equal damage to his enemy. And now it was his final moment in this world. After that, Rosalie stepped in to become the next ruler of the kingdom. Saya returned to his training and told the three of them to enjoy their time before the final confrontation with the demon lord. As time passed and Saya did not return from his training, Rista became concerned and returned to the celestial world, where Arya was waiting for her and crying. She led them to Ishtar's chamber, where the true souls of all the gods were kept. Ishtar revealed the truth behind Saya's cautious behavior. A long time ago, Arya summoned Saya on a B-class mission to deal with a demon lord. Back then, his personality was completely reckless, as he was always rushing into battle with no plans. But the girl on his team was constantly bugging him to be prepared for every battle, but Saya always manages to triumph. But in the final battle with the demon lord, they are brutally defeated, and all three of them are eaten right in front of him, including Arya. When the summoned hero dies, they return to their respective worlds, but this has left a deep mark on their souls, leaving them with a constant sense of guilt. And because Arya was unable to save that world, so with her wish that girl was reincarnated into a goddess, and it was Rita who was reincarnated into a goddess. After learning that this Rista was unable to sit still and break the divine realm's law, she used her divine power to open a portal that led her directly to the demon lord's mansion. There they felt that same magic that was imbued in the sword that Wolk was using to Kazura Chai reaction to destroy their soul. Meaning if Saya or Rista dies there, they will really die. Then they came across Saya, who was still fighting the demon lord. With no other option, Saya used the move that would kill him, the Gate of Valhalla. When Saya and Valkyrie slept, it wasn't just for fun, it was to teach him how to use this technique. But the demon lord was obstinate and refused to leave that gate, so Saya used his blade, which was made from Rita's hair, to push him through the gate. And because of that move, Saya was about to die, so Rita broke the divine once more and used her godly power to heal Saya. But the story doesn't end there, because the demon broke through the gate to escape. The divine weapon made of Alulu blood and flesh was the only thing that could kill him. And because Saya refused to let her be sacrificed, he became one himself by entering the Valhalla through the second gate. It was no longer useful after being used twice because Saya had died. All this time, Saya acted as if he didn't care about anyone's life, but he did. Not just them, but also the innocent people of that world, and he even gave up his life to save them. And now that Rista has broken the divine law by using her godly power to assist Saya in the human world, Ishtar has given a SS rank mission of the world consumed by the demon lord. And if she fails, she will lose her divine title. However, she informs them that when Saya used the Valhalla gate for the second time, the effects of the chain reaction were completely consumed. This means that when he died, he was returned to his world, and she can now summon him back as well.